How about that? How about that? How about that? Everything we talk about, ill intent, violence, physicality, execution, the will to win. Just win, David.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, nation? Ralf in the building, and welcome to another edition of Straight Outta Nation. No Chargers, no Chiefs, no Broncos, just Raiders, baby. And of course, we're getting almost too closer to the offseason and of course the playoffs, the Super Bowl, because right now we have a special guest. Now you might notice because right now it just seems that that special guest is like a great content creator. Not only he just cover all around for the football, but also he has an interesting love in wrestling. So right now it all became to like this special Wednesday because we're talking about Raiders versus Chargers. Also, he's getting a little bit of closer of this preview along with Los Angeles Chargers versus Houston Texans at the wild card. And then we can talk about Jim Harbaugh coaching style and of course changing culture on the football and of course the Monday Night Raw. So ladies and gentlemen, I would love to give you Fernando Ramirez from What's Up Bolts and Compass on the beat. So how's it going? So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you a lot. And of course, I know that it's gonna be really sounding and noise and right now. So I just wanted to tell you about like in this important situation. So I know that Las Vegas Raiders, they just lost against Los Angeles Chargers, but it became something really important about like those players. I mean, it's very tough. You can play all around for the defense, but the coaching style of Jim Harbaugh became very superior, and they just came like for the first time at the playoffs. Now, in the first week of the regular season, which just seemed like we're getting ready for Antonio Pierce, but it seems that with Jim Harbaugh on Los Angeles Chargers and with Justin Herbert, Quentin Johnson, and J.K. Dobbins, it became so much superior because our running back for us, our running back room became something like a lot of issue. But the running back situation for the Chargers, it doesn't see a lot of problem because they have some much young, talented players like Quentin Johnson, J.K. Dobbins, also the quarterback, Justin Herbert. And I mean, the coaching style, it seems like very important, but it seems that, well, they just need to fit it a lot because I know that it became so much important between the Las Vegas Raiders versus Los Angeles Chargers. It's like a special rivalry, but it became like something like very watchable about like the defense, time management, everything. So how you feel like the Los Angeles Chargers, they really had to feel comfortable about beating us twice, because I know we have a long history of rivalry, and of course became like the last game of the regular season, and of course you got a lot of details to go through for the playoffs before the game of Los Angeles Chargers versus Houston Texans. I know they have a task. I know you have a tough task along with CJ Stroud.
Yeah, no, well, especially when Jim Harbaugh came in here, he said, we want to establish a culture with the team. We want to do what we need to do. We need to win the games that we need to win. And you start off the season against the Raiders, you ended against the Raiders. That game against the Raiders in week one, what it changed was the Chargers saw that their offense wasn't really working at one point. And in the fourth quarter, their running game is what got them out of there. Their running game is what J.K. Dobbins pulling out two huge runs. Getting him that win was a good tone setter for the season to start. You start off 1-0, and that was a good tone setter for them. They've gone through numerous games where you think, oh, same old Chargers are going to lose this game, the Cincinnati Bengals game, the Denver Broncos second game. There was multiple games where the old Chargers would have lost most of those games, and this year you just saw a different belief that the team had. And then in Week 18, the Chargers had a big decision. Jim Harbaugh had a big decision. The Steelers lost to Cincinnati, and that gave the Chargers the opportunity to go get the fifth seed. So Jim Harbaugh had an opportunity to either sit his players and let them rest and go to Baltimore the next week, or you play for the fifth seed. You go and play the Houston Texans, and
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Next stop, your train is going to
players
be
go. So,
Solana Beach, California. If this is your destination, please take the opportunity.
wait,
Okay. Okay, don't worry about it, because I know that sounds like a train, but I understand that between for like the wild card of the American Football Conference, because you have a tough task of Houston Texans versus Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, the defense is definitely like a rough matchup for the offense, and after driving like much deeper, they may be like a bit of like a paper tiger. I mean, the defense is definitely the good one, but it seems like it get like a lot of boosted, because obviously when you can be like one side of the competition, it got a lot of power that it is like a drop off. Obviously, the all line is a major question mark. But how do you feel about it? Because I know that I have a difficult task along with CJ Stroud and a lot of the defense, because I think that the defense of the Chargers can really show up. I mean, it's gonna be like a down a year thought, but the energy and the vibe is too much different.
Yeah. No, and the Chargers today, we spoke to Khalil Mack a little while ago, and he said
Okay.
we're gonna take their best shot, and we know they're gonna be aggressive. The Houston Texans have been listening to the media, and guys like Rex Ryan came out and said, "Hey, this is like a bye week for the Chargers." The Chargers are not going with that whatsoever. They know that C.J. Stroud is one of the better quarterbacks. The Derwin James then told us
now riding Solana Beach, California.
Derwin James told us, "Hey, we know that Joe Mixon is a very good running back. Nico Collins is a great." Know the dangerous effects of that the Houston Texans present, but it's all going to rely on their defense. That's how the Chargers have won games this year. Their defense has been the one that set the tone, and they're expecting their defense to be the one that comes out and sets the tone. In my opinion, what's going to win them the game this weekend are four players: Bud Dupree, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and Tuli Tuipulotu. If the pass rush can get to C.J. Stroud, then the Chargers are going to be able to cause a lot of havoc and maybe force him to throw interceptions. I think in the last 8 games, C.J. Stroud has thrown 9 touchdowns and thrown 8 interceptions. So that's what the Chargers are going to need to do. They're going to need to cause disruption to get C.J. Stroud flustered and have him commit turnovers.
I mean, that's absolutely right. But of course, we're gonna do like the next topic, and of course, we just see like a lot of bit of the tension between for like the coaching style of Jim Harbaugh, because we understand that the brothers Harbaugh, he became for a long time to change the culture of the football. While John Harbaugh has became like the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, now Jim Harbaugh has a great job along with the Los Angeles Chargers head coach after winning the national championship along with Michigan Wolverines. I mean, what they do about like the first year, I mean, there's so much talent and the not finished Super Bowl, he lingering over there like so many courses, because anything could happen, because if they need someone to get this group of the talented players to believe it's gonna be like really anything because they haven't figured it out how's gonna be the game plan, or they need something to think very louder and of course with a lot of intelligence. I mean, Harbaugh, it could be like that guy to change the whole culture, not only for the NFL, but also for the franchise of the Chargers. I mean, they just give it brought back to Los Angeles, like the glory of the football. I mean, it was really like it really matters because they wish they could stay here because I know this is getting bigger than that. I mean, we all know they're gonna be staying. Who left it in the water? I mean, the entire promise has been like a very important to see how they get involved, and they're not getting concerned about like the biggest competition about for the coaches because they're very lucky. They're very lucky that they're high enough. I mean, they're just like in the simple because they can prune the winning culture, being in leadership. I mean, not somebody was also a fancy technician, but also a defensive wonder kind, a motivation hand clamper. I mean, I feel like between for like the changing culture of Harvard and the staff, they get that. I mean, stability, identity, and culture, they make like very consistent competitive team, not only for the Chargers, but also for the Raiders and other teams that are the conference. I mean, they just feel like a long streak of the player beloved or talent. And I know there will be like something important to win. And of course, defense really matters.
Yeah, no. So essentially, what you're saying is completely right. I mean, Jim, we had Brandon Staley was here for 2, 3 years, and with Brandon Staley, it wasn't working. Jim Harbaugh came in here, and he said, "Look, I'm Greg Rowe's going to do the offense. Jesse Mitchell's going to do the defense. I'm going to oversee everything," which I think was completely perfect for Jim to do. And it's kind of the same thing that Dan Campbell's doing over with the Lions. Ben Camp or what's his name? Campbell is doing, but
Yeah, that Campbell.
essentially
Yes.
yeah, Dan Campbell. What he's doing with the Lions is exactly what Harbaugh needed to do here. You come in, Ben Johnson runs the offense, and Aaron Glenn runs the defense. Exactly what Jim Harbaugh did, and Jim trusts all of his coaches to go and do that. And I think that he's done a great job with it. And you could just tell he's changed the culture. You have guys like Derwin James, Khalil Mack, who are veterans. They believe in everything that Jim Harbaugh is doing. You talk about Justin Herbert. He believes in what Jim Harbaugh is doing. So once you have a coach that completely sells and the players buy in, there's nothing that this team can't do. I mean, they essentially have a rookie wide receiver in Lad McConkey have over 1,000 yards, and the offense has struggled, but they've believed in everything that they've done. They believe in Jim Harbaugh's message, and now they're in the wild card round of the playoffs. And not a lot of people believe that the Chargers could get to this point. Some people thought there would be 8-9, 9-8. They didn't know what their record was going to be, but they've done a good job, and now they're here, and they're in a position where they could make some noise.
That means right. That means right. Because, well, I just really understand what it should be like a coaching culture because we know that we just got like a breaking news between for like Antonio Pierce. I mean, some coaches, I mean, they don't have the same luck because if you look at the resume of not only Jim Harbaugh but also Jim Harbaugh, I mean, they have it a long, long time to coaching because it's all about like taking time. It's only taking the time for the experience and of course the intelligence, bravery, and of course the courage to get involved to coaching at the football because it's not that easy. And I really understand that some NFL players seem like it have the same luck that's going to shoot it. But I really understand that the culture it became so much popular. I mean, between for like the rivalry that we got us, Las Vegas Raiders versus Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, it became so much part of the history. It became so much part of the tradition, culture, and of course the coaching and defense. They always kind of involved for like the brand new generation because after what you saw like a Khalil Mack getting transferred from Raiders to Bears and then go to the Chargers. I mean, I really get that. But for us, and I mean, the rivalry is much like a feeling because I understand that some persons They don't want to see like them get like a try on it. But I really understand the Los Angeles Chargers. It became so much really important. But the rivalry between for the Las Vegas Raiders versus Los Angeles Chargers, it became so much important that no one see that coming. It's all about like the coaching, the defense, and of course those players who gave like the heart and soul to everything. Okay, so
And
I
that's
think
the
it
thing with
is.
the Raiders.
Oh, 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 there you go. So you got it. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
okay. Yeah, with the Raiders, they're really want to run the team. That's oops, you got me?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, okay, here. Okay. Yeah, it seems to have a little internet problems. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Uh,
Yes, I can hear you.
okay. Okay. So what the Raiders need to establish is who's running the operation. Is it Tom Brady? Is it Mark Davis? Is it Tom Telesco? They need to establish who's the person that's going to lead. If you're going to pick a head coach that has history, that has pedigree, that can come in and lead men. That's why if you saw the reports today, Tom Brady reached out to Bill Belichick and asked him, "Hey, how about you don't go to college and instead you come over here and coach the Raiders?" Now you're going to have somebody who could, if he drafts a young quarterback, can coach him up and bring him up to be a star quarterback. On the other side, you're going to have to deal with, hey, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Bo Nix, and Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert are in your division, but we still believe that you can come in here and try and steal it from one of them. So that's essentially what I think the Raiders are going to have to do to get a head coach. I mean, you have guys like Ben Johnson out there, Aaron Glenn. You have, I know that they're trying to talk to Steve Spagnuolo of the Chiefs. There's other guys that I'm sure they're going to talk to, but they need to establish first who's the leader, who's the one leading this. Is it Tom Brady? Is it Mark Davis? Or is it Tom Telesco? So that's essentially what I think needs to happen. But you have guys that have bought in. Max Crosby before is, I mean, I know recently he said all he wants to do is win, but you have to have guys in there that are going to buy. You have to have a coach that the players are going to believe what they're saying. So that's going to be the first and foremost what Mark Davis, Tom Telesco, and Tom Brady need to do. Get somebody who the players are going to believe in and feel like they can do whatever they believe in the vision of the head coach.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it seems that well between for like Tom Brady because we the Raiders we just wanted to need so bad like a new coach and everything because well but that's just limited about for the news that Bill Belichick is gonna be there as a coach, but how's it gonna fit with the North Carolina Tar Heels when they sign an offer? So it's kind of like a very complicated. And I understand that Tom Brady he became like the brain to searching about like the new coach because we've been seeing like a lot of fans that just wanted to give like the attention and of course like the boys to get enough of this one. So some players didn't have the attention, but it's gonna be like it really happened. All right, so we got over the next topic because I know that sometimes the internet connection it's not that working very good. So well, I remember the last Monday because it was the first time in Los Angeles, California, they just held it a Monday Night Raw on Netflix. I know that the most interesting, the most important global streaming at the world. And after almost 32 years on being on cable TV, I mean, the Monday Night Raw became so much interesting because I know that some guys they just love football and wrestling. I mean, they just became completely like a love relationship because they know that some football players had a lot of great interest in for the wrestling, just like a Jackson Kells, also Ben also George Kittle at the WrestleMania, but it seems that between for like the love history of football and wrestling, it became so much important. We've been seeing like a Triple H return, The Rock return, also John Cena came here, also just like a lot of impact fights between CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, which is like a bad blood rivalry, and of course they just got Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa along with Paul Heyman. I mean, the Monday Night Raw on Netflix, it became so much important. There is a lot of celebrities coming out there to support like the first time on Netflix. I mean, that's very interesting.
No, I completely agree. And the thing is that WWE, and I wrote about this in my article
Hmm.
earlier, that
Yep.
WWE has been at the forefront of a lot of the things that combat sports is still afraid to do. We've heard that Dana White has talked about the piracy and that people stream illegally the UFC. You've known that about boxing. You know
Hmm.
that about everybody. Well, WWE said, how about we make it affordable? Why don't we go and make our own app a couple of years ago, and they only charge $4.99 a month for people to watch the pay-per-views, for people to watch Bad Blood, WrestleMania, all this stuff. Then they sign a huge deal with Peacock. They go over to Peacock. Now they sign a $5 billion deal with Netflix, and they say, "Hey, why don't you come and do what you guys are doing over here?" And Netflix is now an important opportunity because yeah, they did the Jake Paul and Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. They've done NFL games, but they haven't done weekly episodes like what they're about to do. Weekly live streaming episodes like they're about to do with Monday Night Raw. So it's a big opportunity for Netflix to kind of get in that game, and they decided to take off and run with it. And they did it at the Intuit Dome, that's the home of the Los Angeles Clippers, in their new stadium, and it's really nice. They have built-in lights in their seats, so anytime that like when Roman Reigns came out, the lights were blue. When The Rock came out, they were white. So it was really interesting. John Cena obviously came out and he said he wants to join the Royal Rumble. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins with all the bad blood, like you mentioned, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley having their match. And then the funnest part of the night for me
Hmm.
was when Travis Scott came out with Jey Uso, and they're yeeting and everything, and the crowd was just into
Yeah,
it. So
right. Hmm.
yeah, it was a great. And then Triple H after told us when he was talking to the media, he told us, "Hey, Travis Scott's going to do more. I see him as like a Bad Bunny, where he might come in and do more stuff with us. So
Yeah.
you may see Travis Scott in the ring." But I thought it was a home run hit from WWE to sign that huge deal with Netflix. And then on top of that, I thought they had a great showing on Netflix for the first time. But Triple H said, now the first thing as soon as the show ended, I thought, what am I going to do next week to make it an even better show? So pretty funny to see that. But it was a great show, I thought.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because look, I was grow up out of watching wrestling, and it seems that you got a fair point. Because after like so many shows right now on cable TV, and we didn't used to pay enough money to pay some pay-per-views and all of that. Because I remember when I was like a child or young, to be honest. I mean, I was watching all these television specials, and of course, for like the main events, the programs. I mean, it feels like very right. But I understand that their
It was
evolution,
like
it
50
became some
bucks.
parts. Yeah.
$50, and that my parents weren't going to pay $50 for me to
Hmm.
for me to
Hmm.
watch all that stuff. So
Yep.
every single month. So I completely agree with you.
Yep. Yeah, I understand. But I know that it became so much important about like the wrestling stuff, and of course, we just wanted to like to see how the evolution it became so much important that we just wanted to know. I know that the world is changing and all the streaming platforms is changing. I know that we can really afford to like to watch some of the events that it became so much important. All right, so I just wanted to tell you because I know that sometimes the internet connection doesn't really work, but thank you very much, Fernando Ramirez from WhatsApp Balls to give like the thoughts about the Chargers, a little bit of wrestling. So where can we find you? On the social media to watch your videos because I know they have a real tough task along with Houston Texans of the wild card.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you having me on again. I'm sorry. I thought I would be home by now, but my train got delayed. So
Yeah.
thank you for being so
Hmm.
flexible. But you can find me at Real
Yeah.
Life Ramirez on Instagram, on Twitter, and I've stepped up my TikTok game recently. So I've been doing better on TikTok. But I definitely appreciate you having me on. And yeah, I know it's going to be interesting to see the Chargers do. I'm really keeping a close eye on what the Raiders do with their head coaching situation. I'm interested to see what they decide to do there. But thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I just wanted to tell you that you can subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. Also, you can make like some live streams coming out there, some reactions, and of course, I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys for joining us at this special Wednesday with Silver and Black, talking about like Raiders versus Chargers, a little bit of wrestling. So thank you very much, and of course, we will see you there at the next time with Straight Outta Nation. Make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube, and of course, we will see you there next time. So salute to y'all, and have a great night.